Mr. Calderon, can you unmute, please?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Mendoza, we're here for an admonishment hearing. Ms. Mendoza, can you please give the court an update?
Your Honor, yes, Mr. Calderon, is here due to that he has been out of compliance with his, in-home device. I can start off, that Mr. Calderon, he's been skipping his device for more than an hour. I mean, there's a list of dates, of weekly dates that I submitted to the court. But the main concern, Your Honor, that not only that he's skipping, is that that he is driving without the court's permission, even though he's eligible, and there's no restrictions on his conditions of probation. However, he there was some I can point out the dates that he was you can see that he's driving. There were a couple of them, they were past curfew. He was not at home. You can hear music out loud and making notes that he's going home. Several of his kids that due to work and due to sleeping, and there were a couple of them that were at gym. He was at the gym. I mean, he's been advised several times, Your Honor, every time he reports, not to skip or miss or test positives. And it seems like he doesn't understand that he needs to comply with his conditions of probation. Not only that, Your Honor, that he still hasn't worked on his community service. He's behind on his probation fees. I did a financial, Your Honor, and he did provide me the documentations. We can reduce his probation fees, and it's up to the court's discretion, of course. He still has a pending charge for the DWI, which there's a court setting coming up out of the CCR court for December 1st. And that's the reason he has the in-home device on this case.
Right, so that's my thought. He's on probation here for an assault, ag assault, and then he picks up the DWI. So we added the monitor here. Is that what we did?
Yes.
And it was a DWI first or point?
DWI open container, open alcohol container.
I show that part of the conditions here included 30 days ACOP.
Yes, Your Honor, which he hasn't complete.
Okay. Mr. Calderon, what's the problem?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Like I said, like I told her that I work in a fast food industry, so I can't stop because I'm the cashier. I just can't stop and then walk away, do the monitoring device, and then come back because they get upset. I did tell my boss about it. She says if there's time that, yeah, you could do it, but there's only like 3 or 4 of us at a time, and we do hit the rush around 4 o'clock, and it goes straight. That's the only times that I've missed it. And me going to the gym, I walk everywhere. Sometimes I do have a vehicle that my brother does lend me, but I'm not allowed to like take it anywhere. Past the curfews is because I'm at work, and I do work nights as well at the same place. If you need me to
hold on, Ms. Mendoza, in terms of the driving, we did not put a driving restriction on him, did we?
There's no restrictions. However, we need to have, there's no restrictions on his modifications. When he was modified to that he was not restricted. However, we never addressed it to the court or to him that until he's allowed by the court to drive.
Okay, but why? I mean, I'm not sure. Did I restrict his driving? I don't recall doing that.
No, there's no restrictions on his driving.
Okay.
But at the time, he didn't have the driver license in effect. Now he does.
Okay. On his DWI, I guess PR, does he have PR conditions for his DWI?
No, Your Honor, that is a cash surety of $1,500. And
no PR component?
No, Your Honor, and that was done December 2020, but there were no other conditions that they put on here, just a cash surety bond.
Okay.
My concern, Your Honor, is that that he's skipping a lot. Plus, he tested positive for a UA, which he has a TAP appointment.
When was that?
I'm sorry,
When was that?
Your Honor, he tested positive in October the 14th of this year for THC. And he has a TAP appointment, schedule assessment on the 28th of October at 8 a.m.
Mr. Calderon, what are your work hours?
I work from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then sometimes I will work from 8 to 6 to 7 if it's longer. If they need me to stay longer, then I stay longer, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Calderon is going to do a 15-day jail commitment work release. He will turn himself in at 10 p.m. and he will be released at 4 a.m. beginning this Friday, October 28th.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Calderon, if I get another complaint about you not being compliant, I think what you're failing to understand is how much of a priority your probation is over everything else. Right now, you're going to do a jail commitment. And I'm going to allow you to do a work release. If I continue to have non-compliance and I hear from probation that you are not following the instructions given by this court, then don't expect that courtesy. We will just get a bench warrant and you will sit in jail and we'll revoke your probation. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Mendoza, or I'll get the order from the clerk or the order committing and help him with any instructions about reporting. But those will be the times. So whatever his schedule is, he'll have time to get to the jail.
Your Honor, and the other 15, can he do it whenever he wants or?
Oh, that's right. He has a 30-day ACOP.
30
You're
day.
right. No,
Yes,
we're gonna do the 30 days ACOP is what we're gonna do, and we'll do those work release. You show up late, you show up, have drinking, anything like that, and jail doesn't accept you, that's gonna be on you, and then you're gonna do them straight. Understood?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. And you did say, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm so sorry. Friday, 10 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Straight there.
Okay. Ms. Mendoza, please make sure that he understands all of the instructions for him.
Yes, Your Honor.
In terms of any driving restrictions, I didn't place any on him, so I'm not concerned about that, but it sounds like there's other violations kind of related to that. So
Yes,
thank you for keeping me apprised. We're gonna do a probation status hearing in 60 days.
sounds good, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Who's
Thank you,
next?
Debbie.
Do we have? Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Do we have the interpreter set up?
Yes, judges should be set up, still set up.
Okay. But I mean, is it Mr. Cifuentes? Have you made contact with Mr. Avila?
Mr. Avila's ready, Your Honor. His computer's ready and in Spanish.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's get started.
In cause number 2015-0D03205, State of Texas versus Luis Avila. Announcement of council, please.
Javier Salcedo, Assistant District Attorney for the state, ready to proceed.
Victor Serrano, on behalf of the petitioner, Your Honor, Mr. Ramos, Mr. Avila, ready to proceed.
And Mr. Avila,
Ramos for adult probation.
and Mr. Avila is, thank you, ma'am, appearing remotely, also utilizing the assistance of a court interpreter, Mr. Cifuentes. We're set for probation status hearing. Ms. Ramos, what kind of update do we have? I thought I had requested a bench warrant on Mr. Avila.
Your Honor, you asked for a bench warrant in case he wasn't compliant with your 14-day getting the GPS monitor, and he did get it within the 14 days.
Okay,
That's correct.
let me see. Mr. Serrano, I know you kind of came on for the request last time, but since you're here, any update for the court?
Yes, Your Honor, I had an opportunity to speak with, to call the clinic in reference to Mr. Avila. And like Ms. Ramos stated, they do not answer as so-and-so clinic. They answer as hello. Then I proceeded to ask them if it was a clinic, and they indicated to me that they were. And so to me then, what we are asking the court is to allow him to continue to receive his treatment with that doctor. I understand that he eventually, and back in latter part of July, he did go to the hospital. And one of the recommendations that they made is for him to continue his treatment with this physician in Mexico. So that's the reason why we had originally asked our motion to modify, just for him to be allowed to visit with this physician in Mexico and continue with his treatment. Since then, I think there's been some other issues that arose that Ms. Ramos and I spoke about. But my understanding is that everything has been, it's slowly being taken care of, Your Honor, but it's being addressed by Mr. Avila.
So, okay, I'm looking at the case summary, and the first thing under the recommendation is probationer lied about having cancer, but after hearing, he corrected himself and said he did not have cancer. Was this something new, or is this what we discussed last?
That's what we discussed last time, Your Honor.
We did discuss it, Your Honor. For last hearing, Mr. You did not want any more notes from that facility. Since that hearing, Your Honor, Mr. Avila has managed to get his medication from Juarez to here. They've been able to bring it. Therefore, he's not interested in going to Juarez anymore because he has the medication here already. I still continue to recommend Mr. Avila to go to any income-based clinic to get treated here aside from his medications. He has his GPS monitor, Your Honor, 24/7.
Can I time out here, because the last comment on the recommendation is that there is no recommendation for travel. I'm not aware of any new requests for travel, and it sounds like the medication situation, but he's still been dropped from treatment.
Yes, Your Honor, as when he was dropped from treatment, I got him into another treatment provider who he has his appointment in November 2nd to start with a new provider.
All right.
Yeah, my
I'm still
understanding, Your Honor.
opposed to any kind of travel, Your Honor.
No, I don't understand how, he's been non-compliant with treatment and we haven't just revoked him.
Your Honor, if I may, what happened is that Mr. Avila has actually been going to the sessions, has been going for about 3 years. However, there was some request made by in this case, I believe the counselor, and he was not in agreement with, but he's been going to that for 3 years. My
So,
understanding
Mr. Avila, I don't know if you understand, you're not in agreement. Okay? These are not, if you're okay with it, I want you to do this. The court is ordering you to do it. And when you don't do it, you are violating the court's order and meet those conditions of your probation. So that's what I think I'm not understanding, is why Mr. Avila thinks he gets to dictate what he's supposed to do on probation. So I will give him the benefit of the doubt, Mr. Serrano, only because what I'm hearing from probation is that he is set up again for some type of regimen of treatment, but the court will not tolerate any deviation from what probation tells him to do, period. I am at revocation big time.
I understand, Your Honor. Will advise Mr. Avila.
Okay, we're coming back in 60 days as well on another review. Ms. Ramos, if we have any issues in the interim, I want to know immediately, because I mean it. If there is one thing he is not complying with or trying to sidestep, or he's not in agreement, that works just fine for me. I am happy to sign a bench warrant.
Your Honor, could we make sure Mr. Avila understood this? Every time where we finished court and I bring him into an office visit, he tells me he did not know what happened in court. I don't know if he doesn't understand the translation, the attorney, myself, something's not clear for him.
Mr. Avila,
he doesn't understand what happened.
Mr. Avila, is there something that you do not understand about my order that you comply with every condition of your probation? Is there something you're not understanding? Mr. Avila.
Que tengo que hacer todo lo que se me dice.
And you understand that, right? You don't have any questions about that.
No.
If you have any questions, you'll speak with your attorney or your probation officer. You understand that as well?
Sí.
Okay, so if we're all on the same page, then we should have no issues. If we do, Ms. Ramos, I expect to hear from you. Thank you, Mr. Serrano. Thank you,
Judge.
Mr. Cifuentes. You all are excused. Thank you, Ms. Ramos.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your Honor.
Okay, is that everybody for Zoom?
I believe so.